Ladies and gentlemen, the SCO summit in Tianjin, China wrapped up yesterday, but the world's still catching its breath. The world's still reeling over it. Was this the moment Eurasia rewrote the global rule book? As the Shanghai Cooperation Organization flexed its muscle, India, China, Russia smirking together, which is indeed the biggest headline in geopolitics these days. But the question is, for how long? The Shanghai Cooperation Organization isn't your average club. With its 10 members, including India, China, Russia, it covers more than 42% of world's population and over 23% of total GDP. Tianjin summit on August 31 and September 1 was biggest yet, hosting over 20 leaders from PM Modi to President Putin to UN Chief Antonio Guterres. The Republic of China even rolled out red carpet. Picture the glitzy galas, AI robot like Xiao He playing journalist sidekick, and a light show on Hai River, screaming, "We are a big deal." But this isn't just about optics. The SCO is pitching itself as the anti-West, a multipolar force against NATO and G7. With global trade wars and conflicts raging, Tianjin was a state to challenge the world order. So what did they actually pull off? The summit delivered more than the viral moments on Instagram reels. The Tianjin Declaration took a hard swing at terrorism, which is a win for India's push. But the SCO Development Strategy 2025 to 2035 is the real game plan. 10 years of beefed up security via RATS intel, trade corridors, and digital networks. China's President Xi Jinping even pitched an SCO development bank. Because why borrow from West when you can bankroll Eurasia? They even dubbed 2025 as the year of sustainable development, with buzzwords like green energy and climate action. But with India, China, and Pakistan in the same room, this unity feels like herding cat in thunderstorm. But the real question is, can SCO deliver, or is it just another decade of hot air? Another thing to be mentioned is that India was the summit's MVP, juggling giants like diplomatic ninja. With China, PM Modi secured border calm, direct flights, and the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra's return. Nice, but India's still side-eyeing that Brahmaputra's dam. Against Pakistan, PM Modi landed punches. No double standards on terror. While PM Modi roared, Pakistan's PM Shehbaz Sharif stood awkwardly, memed as summit's wallflower. And social media users had a field day yesterday. Take a quick look at some. And now you'd ask, what's with Russia? PM Modi and President Putin's bromance was peak. Hugs, car rides, and December India visit planned. PM Modi even nudged Putin to end Ukraine chaos soon. And now the million ruble rupee yuan question. What if India, China, Russia became true power tribe? Their Tianjin huddle, grins and whispers, sent shivers down Western spine. You know whom I'm talking about. Chinese President Xi Jinping blasted global bullies. Russian President Vladimir Putin pushed a fair world order, and PM Modi played the cool diplomat, balancing both. Together they could shape trade, energy, even tech. Think ruble, rupee, yuan, bypassing the dollar. SCO's 80% of Eurasia's land mass isn't just geography, it's leverage. But here's the catch. India's in the Quad, China's got Pakistan, and Russia's got its own mess. Unity is cool, but these three agreeing long term? That's like expecting Bollywood climax without the family drama. Enter the Western wildcard, Donald Trump's 50% tariff on India for buying Russian oil and China for, well, existing. SCO was their tongue-out back to the West. Unity against hegemonic bullying. But yesterday, White House trade advisor Peter Navarro took it to another level, ranting Indian people about Brahmin profiteers, laundering Russian oil for India's elite. Brahmins? Seriously? In a trade war? Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar slammed back at him, saying, "Ignorance, resident policy." This isn't just tariffs, it's desperation. Trump's tantrums actually proved one thing very clearly. Eurasia isn't backing down. Because SCO's response was a multipolar world. If this trio gels up, then Trump's America might be left winning on the sidelines. So what's next post Tianjin? The SCO pitched itself the global South's voice, with India at the helm. But its tensions with China and India's rivalry with Pakistan could derail the trip. As India is the wild card, balancing SCO, Quad and BRICS, While dodging Trump's trade punches, the summit's deal promises trade and security, but the execution is the real test. Will this trio reshape the world, or is it just summit swagger? But one thing's clear, SCO's power plan is on. But all in all, in this game, trust is the most rarest currency.